Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakradash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. This is your brother Dawah from the Men of Valor campaign, Greenville, South Carolina, coming back with another video on sincerity and in truth, and Lord willing to keep you edifying. And on top of everything else that was announced, yesterday, on Monday, all right, there was a lot of distractions going on with, they announced the Pope died. They announced Klaus Schwab was stepping down from the World Economic Forum. All right, and, we'll see what comes with that. All right, because those were two key pillars, all right, as far as, the control. And it's probably all being consolidated into, this new system that they're about to bring about. But something else that they announced yesterday that's going to affect a lot of you Americans, or we'll get this through the spirit. All right, this is official. AP News, let's get right into it. All right. Student loans in default to be referred to debt collections, Education Department says. All right, so there was a pause during the Crown Vic of just like there was an eviction moratorium on, student loans. All right, and student loans are something that aren't forgiven. All right, contrary to what you people might believe, but they put a freeze on it some years back, and they haven't lifted that freeze up until now. So now they're about to start requiring that if you haven't paid it, they're going to start garnishing your wages, So, and we'll figure out who this affects the most. All right, we're just going to bring out the facts. All right, and if you feel some type of way, hey, I got a scripture for you. But it says, from Washington, the Education Department will begin collection next month on student loans that are in default. So that's if you went to school, if you got a college education to get a job and you took out student loans and you haven't paid them. All right, which these student loans are, they accumulate, over time. When you don't pay them down, like they collect interest just like any other debt. All right, and you people thought you were going to, become a college educated and get you a job and thrive in society when, hey, the Crown Vic happened, knocked a lot of people out of work. And even now, a lot of your jobs are being taken over by AI, and you people went and got worthless ass degrees that you can't do shit with, when only entry level jobs are really available. And that was a part of the reason why I didn't actually go to school, at the Wadi High by Shimon Shah for that. All right, because the student loan, as somebody that was studying finance, the student loan thing didn't make sense. All right, I've met many even finance majors that are in student loan debt. I'm like, how does that even make sense? All right, now these Edomites, they've learned how to use debt to make themselves rich, but they sold you on the fact that you need school in order to get a decent job to pay for school. All right, it was a catch-22. So it says, we'll read this first paragraph again. It says the Education Department will begin collecting next month on student loans that are in default, including the garnishing of wages for potentially millions of borrowers, officials said Monday. Currently, roughly 5.3 million borrowers are in default on their federal student loans. The Trump administration's announcement marks an end to a period of leniency that began during the Crown 19 pandemic. No federal student loans have been referred for collection since March of 2020. So over 5 years, including those in default. And you people just thought that it was going to, if you didn't pay it, that it'd just go away. All right. But now, as a shock to a lot of you people. All right. And we're going to speak on through the spirit, how this is going to affect you people. It says no federal student loans have been referred for collection since March 2020, including those in default. Under President Joe Biden, the Education Department tried multiple times to give broad forgiveness of student loans. That's why y'all were fucking with Biden, because he thought he was going to forgive y'all student loans, but that wasn't the case. Only to be stopped by courts. American taxpayers will no longer be forced to serve as collateral for irresponsible student loan policies, Education Secretary Linda McMahon said. Beginning May 5th, mark your calendars, May 5th, The department will begin involuntarily. Look up what that word involuntarily means. It means they don't need your fucking permission. Involuntary collection through the Treasury Department offset program, which withholds government payments, including tax refunds, federal salaries, and other benefits. And if you women, all right, because you women tend to get these federal jobs. If you went to school for this and you haven't been paying your student loans because of the freeze, all right, they're gonna start garnishing your wages. It says from people with past due debts and the government, after a 30-day notice, the department also will begin garnishing wages for borrowers in default. The decision to send debt to collections drew criticism from advocates who said borrowers have experienced whiplash and confusion with the changing student loan policies between the Biden and Trump administrations. All right, well, that's all by design. All right, and that's why you shouldn't trust in this system, because it's the land of confusion. See? It says this is cruel, unnecessary, and will further fan the flames of economic chaos for working families across the country, said Mike Pierce, executive director of the Student Borrower Protection Center. Already, many borrowers have been bracing for obligations coming due. In 2020, President Donald Trump paused federal student loan payments and interest accrual as temporary relief. So Trump did this. Biden didn't freeze any student loans. It was Trump when he did it during the first pandemic. It says, as a temporary relief measure for student borrowers, the pause in payments was extended multiple times by the Biden administration through 2023. And final grace period for student loan repayments ended in October 2024. That means tens of millions of Americans had to start making payments again. It says borrowers who don't make payments for 9 months go into default, which is reported on their credit score and can go to collections. So this can affect your credit. Along with the borrowers already in default, around another 4 million are 91 to 180 days late on their loan payments. Less than 40% of all borrowers are current on their student loans, department officials said. So you have a mass majority of people that have not paid their student loans, and you're about to start getting, on top of food getting expensive, on top of gas getting expensive, on top of this tariff war about to affect the prices of everything, you also have to pay back your student loans. They're going to take the shit out your check. Okay? So let's find out real quick. I have this article right here, and let's scroll up. This is from Peter G. Peterson Foundation, and it says 10 key facts about student debt in the United States. So you can look this up. Once again, you see the handle. All right, but I want to skip down as to who, so you got charts and shit. Who owns the most student loan debt, you might ask. All right, down here at 7, all right, it says women. That was first. Women. Black borrowers, and there's been a whole thing amongst the so-called black community of women bashing black men for not going to college. So what we can make an inference on is there's not too many Israelite men that are actually in college. A lot of them went and started doing trades, or a lot of them are in jail, or a lot of them, are trap niggas, because that's what these women like. All right, so it's women, and so if it says black borrowers, you can assume that it's way more black women that owe than black men. It says in students at for-profit schools, all right, which for-profit schools are most of these institutions, owe more federal student loan debt on average than other groups of borrowers. On average, women owe nearly $3,000 or 10% more student loan debt than men. Okay, read that again slow if I didn't read it slow enough. Women, so really it's saying on average, women owe $3,000 or 10% more on their student loan debts than men do. All right, so you women are about, when the Spirit has had us on, getting on you women, rise up you women that are at ease, and best believe the Israelite woman, who took her career, and thought that she didn't need a man. Now you're about to have your wages garnished, okay? Your shit is about to go to collections. Your shit is about to be on your credit report. All right, right, but you don't need a man, right? And not to mention, a lot of you people are losing your jobs right now. So this has been the strategic breakdown of, the American middle class, lower class. They're about to take all your shit away, and this was something that you basically volunteered yourself to do. All right. I'm gonna read that again. It says on average, all right, and this ain't somebody that's, trying to pick on women. This is facts over feelings right here. All right, it says on average, women owe nearly $3,000 or 10% more student debt than men. It says black borrowers owe $13,000 or nearly 50% more than white borrowers. So you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that wanted to take this college route and try to make it here in America, you're cooked. You're done. And once again, the Wadi Habashim Shah for giving me the prudence to not go to college, because I didn't go, I had the opportunity. I'm not somebody that was uneducated in school. I was very much aware and educated through the power of Yahweh Bashim Shah, even before I was in this truth. And it didn't make sense to go and borrow this money to go get a job, to pay for the school that you had to borrow money to get the job for. It didn't make any sense. Slack it. So it says factors such as enrollment rates and graduate school programs, type of college attended, can affect those debt levels. For instance, those who attend private for-profit colleges owed about 14% or $14,000 or around 50% more than borrowers who attended public or private non-profit schools. So I just want to bring, it says students at for-profit schools and black borrowers have the highest federal student loan default rates. All right. So, hey, Jake, you in some trouble. You in some trouble, man. And you women, you're definitely in trouble. You're definitely in trouble. So let's get this right quick. All right. This is Ecclesiasticus of the Book of Sirach, chapter 12 and verse 10. It says, never trust thine enemy. And you niggas still haven't woken up to who your enemy is, even though they lynched us, they raped us, they scalped us, all right? They separated us from our families. You still don't understand that this devil is your enemy. It says, never trust thine enemy, for like his iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. So you thought him putting a pause on the shit during the pandemic, which was something that was orchestrated, all right? And now it's coming back 5 years later. You thought shit was cool. It's coming back to bite you in the ass. Verse 11, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rest have not been altogether wiped away. Don't trust this devil. All right. Let's get this. Psalm chapter 55 and verse 21, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, right? They it seems like they're trying to help you and all that shit. All right. It says what? But war was in his heart. And this is a war against the American people with the tariffs, with not a student loan debt, with the price of food going up. They're going to break you down, man. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. All right. And this is what you niggas get. And we brought this out yesterday. Let's grab this, and I actually grabbed this in Isaiah, the 31st chapter. All right, Isaiah 31, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help. All right, and America is spiritual Sodom and spiritual Egypt. And it says, stay on horses and trust in chariots because they are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord. All right, and Teddy Roosevelt had a quote that basically having a thorough knowledge of the Bible was better than a college education. All right, and I can say Tawadi Habashim Shah because the time I would have spent in college, I spent in this truth, growing, as a man of Yahweh Bashim Shah. Lord willing, I endured to the end. But, I had a chick that was in college tell me recently that I didn't go to college and I didn't owe student loan debt, but instead I learned a trade. I learned something that didn't cost me money to acquire, and can make me money with my hands because, dealing with these jobs, once again, they're being taken over by AI, which all these jobs are about to be gone soon. But even in that sense, the Lord, had me be able to avoid this when a lot of people are taken by this student loan shit. All right. Verse 2, it says, yet he also is wise and will bring evil and will not call back his words, but will arise against the house of the evildoers and against the help of them that work iniquity. It says, now the Egyptians are men and not the Most High, and their horses flesh and not spirit. When the Lord shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that hoping shall fall, and they shall all fail together. All right. Hey, the Lord is controlling this, man. All right. The Lord created this devil to be a devil, and he's using that devil as such. And now you people are in a catch-22 to where, once again, you're already struggling to survive now. There's already TikToks and shit about how people are barely able to live, how people are barely able to work and receive a livable wage. And on top of that, if you went to school to get these entry-level jobs, your wages can be garnished. Oh, you're cooked. You people are cooked, man. You people are cooked. And let's go ahead and get this because, once again, women owe. It said women and black borrowers owe 10% more. All right, on average. Isaiah chapter 32 and verse 9. Rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech. All right, shit's about to get horrible for you people, man. Especially you women that are lofty and haughty. All right, and it's not just because you're women. It's because you're haughty and lofty. And you, like the scriptures say in Jeremiah, the Lord created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man. All right, so you took this equality or so-called equality and ran with it. And so much so to where the black woman has said, I don't need my man. I don't need the men of our nation. We can do this shit on our own. And now we're starting to see you women trying to crawl back. And like Apostle Dahar said, unless it's an Israelite sister, and she's coming in order, I ain't really in the spirit of dealing with Israelite women no more. We don't need to. Biologically, we do not need to. We can bring Israelites through the loins of white women, through the loins of Asian women, so-called, through the loins of Elamite women, through the loins of Ishmaelite women. Okay, they're vessels. We carry the seed. So this stronghold that the so-called black woman has, and that Native American and Latino woman have had on us, and the curses being on us and them disrespecting and treating us wrong, we don't need you. So no, they're not about to come back to your rescue when they start garnishing your wages. Once again, we about to start getting those big head texts, text messages. We about to start getting those, hey, they about to start crawling back, man. They definitely are. All right, it says, verse 10, many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. And I did the Spirit had me do a video on this last week. The vintage is failing. Everything that you women use to get a leg up on men and to pop shit while you at the summit, all right, is failing you now. Your luxury designer is fake, is all made in China. So, you materialistic women that thought, all my Birkin bags and my Chanel bags, man, they're worth pennies on the dollar, man. In all actuality, China exposed that. And you're not going to be able to get it cheap from China because now China's not going to be exporting shit to America. Y'all don't understand what's really going on. This is the end of an empire. So this is the end of your liberty. This is the end of you being able to pop shit. This is the end of hot girl summer. This is the end of all this shit, man. Verse 11, tremble ye women that are at ease. And this represents America. All right, but it applies to you women as well, because you come in that spirit of America, of a whore that sitteth upon many waters, as the scriptures say. All right, so you women embody that for the most part. You American women, you dress like them, you talk like them, you move like them, you fuck around like them. like a whore. So it says, tremble, ye women that are at ease, be troubled, ye careless ones, strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. So you're about to be in a fucked up state. And we'll finish off here. All right, Micah 7:10. We'll start at verse 9. It says, I will bear the indignation of the Lord, because I have sinned against him, until he plead my cause and execute judgment for me. He will bring me forth to the light, and I shall behold his righteousness. Yeah, we bear the indignation of the Lord. Yeah, the Lord, man, hey, he judged us for going against him. All right, but now he's in the time where he's going to execute judgment for us. All those that scoffed, all those that mocked. Verse 10, it says, then she that is mine enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, where is the Lord thy power? Mine eyes shall behold her, now shall she be trodden down as the mire of the streets. You women are through, man. All right, the men are through too, but you women, you just have this pride about you, and the Lord hates a proud look, especially from a weaker vessel. You are supposed to be under your man, and the Lord is about to set things back in order. All right, but get ready. I hope y'all got some money saved up. Y'all about to they about to start taking this money out y'all accounts, man. It's about to start fucking up y'all credit scores. And if your credit score fucked up, you can't get a house, can't get a car, you can't do a whole lot of anything. So this is a snare that, the Lord beautifully laid, all right, for you women, especially, that thought that you were just gonna, be a career woman and all that shit, man. Hey, it's over. It's over, man. So Lord willing, this is edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem Mukar and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well, and peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. Till next time, Shalom.